Welcome to my channel. Here I am publishing video on trending news from around the world. I hope you will support me by subscribing and turn on notification to get notified when I release new video, because I guarantee you will enjoy and get any legitimate news from any country. Let's get started. The Chinese energy crisis, why the world's second largest economy is running out of oil. China is facing an unprecedented energy crisis. In just 80 days, the world's second largest economy is predicted to run out of oil. This crisis has been caused by a combination of factors, including rapid industrialization and population growth, as well as government policies that have not kept pace with demand. The repercussions of this crisis could be felt both domestically and internationally, so it is important to understand why it is happening and what can be done to address it. In this video, we will explore the Chinese energy crisis and why it has become a major concern for the global economy. The reason for the crisis. China is facing an energy crisis, with the world's second largest economy running out of oil in 80 days. This crisis has been caused by a combination of factors, including increased demand and a lack of investment in new production sources. First and foremost, China's population has grown exponentially over the past few decades, leading to a rapid increase in demand for oil. At the same time, China has not invested enough in new production sources to meet this demand. While it has made some progress in exploring alternative sources of energy, such as solar and wind power, this progress has not been enough to offset the demand for oil. Another factor contributing to the crisis is the global rise in oil prices. In recent years, oil prices have been rising due to increasing demand from emerging markets, as well as geopolitical tensions that have disrupted production. This increase in prices has created a situation where it is no longer economically feasible for China to produce oil at a profit, further exacerbating the crisis. Finally, China's current energy policies are not helping the situation. The government has been slow to implement policies that would encourage the development of new sources of energy, and reduce the country's reliance on oil. With only 80 days left before the country runs out of oil, it is clear that urgent action needs to be taken to address the Chinese energy crisis. Without decisive action, the consequences could be disastrous for the country and the world. How this will affect the world. China is the world's second largest economy, and is now facing an energy crisis with reports that it could run out of oil in as little as 80 days. This could have a massive impact not only on the Chinese economy but also on the global economy. The Chinese energy crisis can be attributed to two primary factors. First, China has experienced rapid industrialization, leading to increased energy demand. Second, the country has failed to invest adequately in alternative energy sources such as solar and wind power, resulting in a reliance on oil as its main energy source. The consequences of the Chinese energy crisis will be felt around the world. Since China is a major player in the global economy, any disruption to its energy supply could result in a ripple effect of economic uncertainty. This could lead to reduced exports, job losses, and increased inflation in other countries. On top of this, China's energy crisis could also put additional pressure on global oil prices. As China reduces its imports of oil, there will be less of it available to other countries, leading to higher prices. The good news is that China is taking steps to mitigate the effects of its energy crisis. It has already invested heavily in renewable energy sources and is looking for ways to increase efficiency. Ultimately, the Chinese energy crisis will have a significant impact on the global economy and will require close monitoring by governments, and international organizations. In order to prevent the situation from escalating further, decisive action must be taken to ensure that alternative energy sources are explored and implemented. What China is doing to combat the issue. China is facing an unprecedented energy crisis, with the world's second-largest economy running out of oil in just 80 days. With such a short timeline, the Chinese government is taking quick action to address the problem. First, they are pushing for greater domestic production of oil. The Chinese government has invested billions in oil production, focusing on both offshore and onshore sites. This investment has resulted in an increase in domestic oil production, allowing China to better meet its own energy needs. Second, the Chinese government is actively looking for alternative sources of energy. China has already begun embracing renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. In addition, they have invested heavily in the development of nuclear power. These initiatives will help China reduce its reliance on oil and keep the lights on in the country. Finally, the Chinese government is encouraging citizens to reduce their energy consumption. In recent months, China has implemented campaigns to increase public awareness about energy conservation. These campaigns have encouraged citizens to reduce their overall energy usage by making simple changes, such as switching off lights when not in use and using more energy-efficient appliances. China's energy crisis is a major issue for the world's second-largest economy. While the timeline is tight, the Chinese government is taking the necessary steps to combat the issue. By increasing domestic oil production, investing in alternative energy sources, and encouraging citizens to be more mindful of their energy consumption, China is working hard to ensure that its people continue to have access to affordable and reliable energy. What needs to happen next? China is facing a dire energy crisis with oil reserves running out in less than 80 days. This is an alarming situation for the world's second-largest economy, and drastic measures must be taken to ensure its energy needs are met. In order to address this crisis, China must look towards alternative sources of energy. Renewable sources such as solar, wind, and geothermal are becoming increasingly popular in China, and they could provide a much-needed boost to the country's energy production. Additionally, China should focus on investing in energy efficiency measures and technologies. This could help reduce the amount of energy consumed by households and businesses, allowing for a more sustainable future. The Chinese government must also work to create incentives for companies to invest in renewable energy sources. This could include offering tax breaks or other forms of financial assistance to those who develop renewable energy projects. This would not only help the environment, but it would also help create jobs and stimulate economic growth. Finally, China must take steps to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels. This could involve investing in more efficient cars, supporting electric vehicles, and reducing emissions from power plants. Additionally, China could explore options such as carbon capture and storage technologies. These technologies could help reduce the amount of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere, reducing the country's contribution to global climate change. The Chinese energy crisis is a serious issue that must be addressed immediately if China is to maintain its position as a global superpower. By taking steps to diversify its energy sources, reduce its dependence on fossil fuels, and invest in energy efficiency technologies, China can ensure its energy needs are met in the future. Many countries. Thank you for watching. See you on my next video piece.